going on in my head is just a clash of nothing that goes together at all. I don't know. Nothing makes sense anymore. Just put it in my hands and spend my money, okay? The way I don't know anything about sports is, it's sick. Give me an audiobook, please, I beg of you. Who am I? I don't know. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're doing well. Welcome to another video and welcome to my summer TBR. I'm dressed for spring, but I'm ready for summer. Summer just feels like the best time to read my favorite kind of books, and that is romance. I don't know about you, but summer screams romance to me, and I just feel like I need it. I require it, and I'm very excited to sit down and share with you guys the books that I want to read during this season of summer. I also find, I know I said I'm excited for, summer, and I feel like it's the romance season, but for some reason, every time I sit down to pull a TBR for summer, I always have the hardest time picking books that feel the most summery to me. That could also be due to the fact that I read romance all year round, and so, what screams a summer romance? I don't know, but I guess we're gonna find out today. I pulled several books that I would like to read for the season. However, I'm not going to read them all. I picked 20 because I couldn't stop pulling books off the shelves. And I don't know if it's just because I'm excited to read them and I'm hoping to prioritize them in the next 3 months, or if I really think in Delululand that I can read 20 books alongside all the other plans that I have for the remainder of the next 3 months that are coming up, because I have video ideas, I have book club picks, all of that stuff gets factored in. Will I read all of these 20? Probably not, but I will try to pull from them every time I create a TBR tarot. Okay, the angle changed substantially because I didn't feel like sitting on my knees anymore. Also, if you guys hear the dogs, I'm so sorry. They are just having a time out there. So I'm going to try to pause as much as I can to cut that stuff out, but if not, I'm so sorry. I don't have any particular order to this, but I did section this off into romance and fantasy. So let's go through the fantasy because that's a much quicker section, and then we'll jump into the many romances I would like to read over the next 3 months. The first one is actually a sci-fi, and that is Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. I just feel like the colors and the title of the book scream summer to me, and I've been wanting to make sure that I pick this book up sometime soon since I did read Red Rising. It feels like now almost 6 months ago, and I'm going to forget everything if I wait any longer. So this definitely needs to be one that I prioritize picking up if I do want to continue on with the series, and if I don't want to have to reread book 1, because it is deceivingly long even though it looks short. Those pages are thin, and the words on the page are plenty. So I'm just hoping that I can get around to this one soon before I literally forget every single detail of book 1. This next one is a book that I've been talking about picking up so many times and still have yet to put on a TBR, but I just feel like I need to read it ASAP, and that is Feybound by Sarah L. Arifi. This is one that I have been chomping at the bit. Every time I look at it on my shelves, I'm like, I need to read you. Why haven't I picked it up? I don't know. Make it make sense. I certainly cannot. I don't know anything about what this is about other than the fact that it has fae, and I believe it might be a fantasy romance. I don't know for sure if it is, but the way that I want to throw my TBR out the window every time I look at this is sick, but I haven't picked it up. That's even more sick. This is one that I'm putting on the TBR, even though when you look at it, it definitely gives spring vibes, but something about this is telling me that I need to pick it up in the summer. Again, make it make sense, because everything going on in my head is just a clash of nothing that goes together at all. But that is A Fragile Enchantment by Alison Saft. I've been wanting to pick this one up. I've heard very mixed reviews, and I'm not really sure if this is going to be a book that I absolutely love, given that it's set in the past, which is not something that I tend to like to read about. However, I am just very intrigued by the story. I don't really know anything about it, but it just looks romantic, it looks dreamy, it looks like something that I'm really going to enjoy. The back says, a love story for the ages, threaded with intrigue and scandal. Yes, thank you. And the last fantasy book on this list is another special edition that I'm really hoping to get to, because again, I do not want to forget the details of book 1, and that is The Empire of the Damned by Jay Kristoff. I read Empire of the Vampire in October-ish maybe, of last year, and I really enjoyed it. It is not a new favorite for me, but I did give it a high 4 stars. It was a book that I really enjoyed my experience with. It's definitely something that pushed me out of my comfort zone, because I don't read a lot of chunky adult fantasies like this, but I had a good time with it. I like Jay Kristoff's writing, and overall I found it to be very engaging and fun. So I'm definitely interested to see how the story is going to continue and if this is going to be a series that I really end up loving. But I bought 2 copies of this book, and I need to stop doing that when it comes to special editions, so I need to read this one to justify my means of buying 2. So we shall see. The first book is a dark adult epic fantasy about the last vampire to live. He's a silver saint. He's not a vampire, but he kills vampires, like the darker versions of themselves. And he's the last one. He gets captured, and he's sitting down to tell his story about how he got to where he is. And overall, I enjoyed it. I'm excited to see what I think of book 2, and hopefully this will motivate me to actually pick this one up. All right, that being said, let's talk about all the romances that I want to read, because this stack just makes me excited. Okay, the first romance I want to talk about is Falling Embers by Catherine Cowles. This is book 2 in the Tattered and Torn series. I have been slowly collecting the books in this series in the original covers because the series did get picked up by a trad publisher and I'm not in love with the new covers, so I definitely wanted to get around to picking up the rest of the series, but if I'm going to buy them, I need to read them. So I definitely want to pick up book 2. I don't know really anything about it other than the fact that it is small town romantic suspense, and I enjoyed the first book in the series. That was Tattered Stars, I believe, and I gave that one 5 stars. It was a really great read, so I'm interested to see what I'm going to think of this one. These covers are stunning, and I need an excuse to pick them up. I'm giving an author another chance, although I kind of have like mixed feelings about this author in particular. The last book that I read from her, I DNF'd, and the one previous to that, I didn't love it. It's definitely not a book that as a group that we enjoyed because we did read it as a book club pick, but that is Brittany C. Cherry. I would like to read The Silent Water. This is the 3rd book in the Elements series, one that I've been chomping at the bit when I first heard about this series to get to this specific book, but since having picked up more books by this author and not absolutely loving them, I'm a little afraid that that author was just like a one-hit wonder. There's only one book that I read from her that I gave 5 stars. The other one I think I gave 4.5, which is still a high rating, but not a 5 star. But this one, I don't know, it intrigues me. It's like damaged, tortured hero, just like the rest of the books in this series, but I'm apprehensive to pick it up, but I'm hoping by putting it on a TBR like this, I'll have more of a reason to give it a try, and if I don't like it, I don't like it, but at least I can say I gave it a go. I feel like the next book that I'm going to talk about screams summer, and that is Caught Up by Liz Tomford, the 3rd book in the Windy City series. I read books 1 and 2 last year back to back. They were the first 2 book club picks for the Sweeney readers, and we really enjoyed our reading experience with those, so I'm not quite sure why I haven't gotten around to book 3. I do have access to the audiobook. Like, I have nothing standing in my way from picking this up, although one bestie loved it and one bestie didn't, so I'm definitely a little apprehensive picking this one up because I want to know which side of the pendulum I'm going to fall on. But Caught Up is a single dad nanny / chef romance. It is also a baseball romance, so I'm definitely intrigued to see what I'm going to think of this one. Then we have The Bully by Sophie Lark. This is the 3rd book in the Kingmaker series. I am hoping to read Ivan in the month of May so that I can move on with her, like, I think it's her reading order. It is recommended to read Ivan before you get to The Bully, and then I would like to continue on with this series. This is a 2nd generation mafia story that takes place at an academy for mafia people. I enjoyed book 1 not as much as I would have liked, but I really liked book 2, so I'm definitely curious to see what I'm going to think of book 3. I don't really know who they follow. I just know that I really enjoy the way that the story is told. It follows the children of the people that we learned about in the Brutal Birthright series, so I don't know. I don't know anything about this one, Kat and somebody else, but I'm hoping to love it. Speaking of continuing on with the series, I would like to pick up the next book in the Eden series by Daphne Perry. This is Crimson River. This is book 5 in the series, and I've been meaning to finish up the series for a while now, yet here I am still having not finished it. I have put it on many a list. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I don't know. Nothing makes sense anymore. But this one is Lila's story. I don't really know the synopsis or the premise of this one, but I am very intrigued to see what I'm going to think of the last 2 books. I just have this one and Sable Peak, and I will be done with the Eden series officially. So I'm hoping I can do that sometime soon. Up next, I feel like this cover screams like winter fall, but something about the ambiance of this book is giving me I need to read it in summer. That being said, I don't know a single thing about it. I picked this special edition bind up of this series at Steamy LitCon last year, and I have not even thought about picking it up since, but today when I was pulling things off the shelf, I was like, yeah, this is the one that I need to pick. I don't know anything about it. It says, long live the twice-born hearts like mine, it beats only for you, my love. Unending and infinite, I will take you with me into the next life and 1,000 beyond that, always and forever. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like it's going to be angsty, sad. It might make me cry. Emma Scott, I feel like, is an author that is known for the tears, so we shall see. Then I feel like it's only right in summer to pick up another Elsie Silver. When I think summer, I think small town. I think ranchy romances. I said ranchy in a video the other day, and Dana just thought that was the funniest thing, and it just gives me house, what is that, the house dressing every time I say ranchy, but that's the only word I can think of. Off to the Races by Elsie Silver, the 1st book in her next series. This is the Gold Rush Ranch series, and yeah, I had originally had a video planned where I was going to read the entire series in one video, but these books don't have audiobooks, and I'm tired of waiting to read this book. So I feel like summer is the time. I must pick it up. I must know if the Backlist series by Elsie is just as good as the Chestnut Spring series, and I am very excited to get around to this one. Again, do I know anything about this? No. When it comes to contemporary romance, like, if it's by an author I already love, just give it to me. I don't need to know what it's about. Just put it in my hands and spend my money, okay? This one that I'm putting on this list. scares me because if you guys watched my try chapter tag, I will leave it in the cards above. I was not excited about this book, but I need motivation to pick it up, and that is Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings, the second book in the Magnolia Parks universe series. This one is a little bit different from the Magnolia Parks story. I feel like this one has a little bit more of like darker mafia ties from what I can remember from the first chapter. It also has footnotes, which scares the hell out of me, but I will be listening to the audiobook, so hopefully that won't be too much of a problem. But I am curious to see what I'm going to think of Daisy's story. I don't remember who she's with, but I am curious to see what I'm going to think of this. Oh, it's Christian. Daisy and Christian. So we shall see if I like it. I really enjoyed the first book in the series. I gave it 5 stars, so I have high expectations, but I'm trying to keep my expectations really low, so I'm not overly disappointed. Let's talk about another author that I feel like needs a second chance, and that is Candy Steiner. I did read Blindside by this author, and I enjoyed that. Then I read A Love Letter to Whiskey, and I did not like that, so I'm going to pick up Quarterback Sneak by this author. I don't know which way in the series this is. I don't know if it's number 1, 2, or 3. I did read Blindside, which I think is book 2, so I'm out of order. I don't know which number this is, but I do want to read it. It's a football college romance, and yeah. I don't even think that this is football season. Is summer football season? The way I don't know anything about sports is, it's sick. But I'm excited to read it. I like Candy Steiner's writing when it comes to like college romances, so we shall see if I like this one as much as I like Blindside. I read Blindside pretty much in one sitting and I ate that shit up, so I'm just hoping this can be the redemption book for me for this author. I am just really trying to move on with series, so I would like to pick up the 3rd book in the Bergman Brothers series. This is Ever After Always by Chloe Leese. Oh, this is a Bergman sister series, but it does say book 3, so I'm hoping that I'm not missing anything in the series. But I am very excited to get around to this one. I really love Chloe Leese's writing, and I love how much she includes disability and mental health in her books, so I'm very, very excited to get around to this one. This is Aiden and Freya's story. I'm really excited. I read book 2 in the series just recently, and I loved it, so I really am excited to pick this one up. Also, I did order special editions of the entire series, so if I could get through the series relatively quickly, that would be good. Up next, we have an eyeball book, which is unheard of for me, but I would like to pick up another Sophie Lark, and that is Minx. I don't know anything about this. I think it might be billionaire romance. Honestly, I don't know. Sophie Lark writes things, and I just buy them. I'm a sucker for her books, and I really enjoy her writing. It's definitely easy to read, very light, and always a really fun time. So I'm not worried that I'm not going to like this. I just don't love the fact that I can only read it with my eyeballs. Give me an audiobook, please. I beg of you. I read the back of this. I don't really know what this is about. I don't really care. I'm just gonna jump in and hopefully have a good time. This next book is a book that I have been talking about finishing for so long. Again, the covers scream spring, but we're just gonna ignore it, okay? We're gonna ignore it. The Lost Fisherman by Julie Ann. I have read the first book in the series a long time ago, and I've been talking about, I'm gonna read it. It's gonna be so quick and easy. Look how short it is. Why haven't I read it? It's a duology. I can finish up a series by just reading this, and I haven't done it. I own the audiobook. Me trying to figure out why I haven't picked up books is just, it's not even worth my time. Nobody can understand. Nobody can explain it to me. Anyways, The Lost Fisherman, the first book, is like a young 18-year-old moves in with her mother who just got out of prison, and she's trying to build a relationship there, but she has a roommate. His name is Fisherman? I think his name is Fisherman. I don't fucking know. I don't remember. Maybe his last name is Fisherman? I don't really remember, if I'm being honest with you. But she is like a very sheltered, very naive young 18-year-old. She's a virgin. She grew up in a very religious background, and she gets into this environment with a man that really does open her eyes to the world that they live in, and is very open with her in a sexual way that really gets her to see the world in a different light. And this is their story many years later. It's a time jump, so I'm definitely curious to see what I'm going to think of this one. I didn't love book 1, but I had a lot to do with the fact that I didn't love the main character and her mindset at the time, and I feel like in this time jump situation, I'm going to maybe enjoy her character a little bit more, so we shall see. We're getting there, I promise. The next one is another book box book, and that is Burn For Me by Sarah Kate. I got this one in a very late Mystic or Bell box, I'm not really sure, but I don't really know anything about it. I didn't know that Sarah Kate had as many backlist books as she did, and I've only read her Salacious Players Club series, so I'm curious to see what I'm going to think of this one. It says, hate is a cloak we use to hide many other emotions. Fear, jealousy, anger, resentment, love. Hate is such an easy escape from facing whatever it is that we're trying to avoid. I don't really know anything about it. I think bird, I think fire. Fire reminds me of campfire. Campfires remind me of summer. Hence, Summer TBR. Speaking of campfire, let's talk about Wildfire by Hannah Grace. Have I read book 1 of the series? No. Have I decided to skip it to get to this one? Indeed, I have. This one takes place at a summer camp, I believe, and there's a no fraternization rule between the people that are running the summer camp, and, you know, those lines are going to be crossed. So I'm curious. I have not read a book by this author yet. I've heard really great things. I've heard really bad things. So we shall see. Another eyeball book. Who am I? I don't know. But we have Good Game by Madison Fox. This author is a YouTuber that I followed for a really long time before she wrote her first book. And I'm excited to get around to this one. This one was a gift from Nikki, I think. Oh no, did I lose the slip? I don't know, but I think this was a gift from Nikki, or it was from Dana, or it wasn't from Karina, because Karina gave me the Predator. I can't remember. I'm so sorry. I will have to go look around my house to find the gift note. It's somewhere on the couch somewhere. But I am really excited to get around to this one. This is a gamer romance, and for me, when I think of playing video games, it reminds me of my summers, because when I was a young teenager, during my summers, all I would do was play video games. So I feel like this is definitely the summer vibes that I'm looking for, and I like a good romance that goes alongside it. So I believe it also has maybe masked men, which sign me up. Thank you. And finally, we have Under Lock by Mariana Zapata, the next slow burn that I need to read by this author. I've had this one on my TBR for a little while, and it is a book on my 24 and 2024. So it'd be a good, motivation for me to take more books off of that list. It is a motorcycle romance. I don't really know. I never really know what Mariana Zapata books are about before I jump into them. I just have faith that she is going to, make it angsty and very, 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 very slow burn until it lasts like 10 pages, and then give me a kiss that I literally want to die about. So, if you read a Mariana Zapata book, that is literally exactly what that is. So I'm excited to get around to this one. Hopefully I'll like it as much as her other ones, but I've heard this one is less slow burn as some of her other books, so I'm curious to see if I'm gonna like this one as much. Alrighty friends, that is it. That is all 20 books that I want to read in the summer months. I would be curious to know if you read any of the books I talked about today and what you thought of them. Also, feel free to share with me down below what you're planning to read in the summer months in 2024. I would love to hear your thoughts. What's at the top of your priority list for the next 3 months? I love you guys very much. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If you made it to the end of this video and you don't know anything else to comment, leave your favorite summer emoji. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you taking the time. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And of course, leave any comments, questions, suggestions in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!
Thanks, baby. Turn it down like a sweet